And then, if there is a war, what shall we do? I asked my mother when I was little in fear, while watching the war of Iran-Iraq on the news. We will find refuge in the churches. Churches are an asylum and they never bomb asylums, because then they will be declared as war criminals, and there is a very heavy punishment for that. My mother's answer calmed me down. In churches, we would always be safe. So even the war had rules. For years I felt this security. The bombing of St. Porphyrius in Gaza was devastating news to me. It was the collapse of my childhood hope that somewhere out there was always a safe place in times of war. But since the October 7th of 2023, churches are bombed, hospitals are bombed. Apparently, there are no asylums anymore. I've been trying for weeks to go to the Monastery of St. Porphyrius in Milesi, on the north of Athens, after the news for the bombing in Gaza. I needed to see it standing there to get courage. On December 1st, I finally made it.
προορισμός σας βρίσκεται στα δεξιά.
St. Porphyrius' dream to this monastery was to be the center where broken people and those who were in pain would go to find strength and healing, to provide a refugee at any time of the day or night, to provide an asylum. If you want to teach someone, he said, be the living example of what you want to teach. I wander around the monastery he built, and I think how such a petite man managed to build such a temple, something so grand. I think of how I feel unable to do much simpler things every day. But there is the example of St. Porphyrius. Maybe you feel small, but this doesn't mean that you cannot create something grand. When I arrived, I ran into an old friend, a sound engineer. I saw cameras set up. Because of the day, he told me, and then I realized that, luckily, I arrived at the eve of the saint's feast. I remembered a phrase of Father Ananias Koustenis, who said, "Luckily is God's stage name." Don't think about your sins or about how you will be saved. Just give love, be love, he was saying. I see a mother playing with her daughter in the precincts of the temple, and my mind goes to the mothers and the children in Gaza. Christmas was around the corner, and it was impossible for me not to draw the parallel of the slaughter of the infants by Herod. For every victim of Hamas on October 7th, Israel kills thousands of babies, thousands of children, thousands of innocents. I'm afraid that although Netanyahu is a Jew, he does not seem to know what the Lord means in the Old Testament when he says, "An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." The eye for an eye rule did not give the victim the power or the right to revenge. On the contrary, it helped the judges of that era to award the appropriate punishment, not too harsh, but not too lenient, so that there would be a balance and a sense of justice in the society. In short, the eye for an eye rule helped to keep punishment from going to extremes, since times were very harsh then, and people took each other's lives for nothing. So the law suggested, if someone puts out your eye, put out his eye too. Don't take his whole life for an eye. In some villages in Greece, there was a custom when somebody died. They would cover the mirrors, the shiny objects, and the furniture with white fabrics as a sign of mourning, as a sign of grief. Yes, we are all mourning, even if we don't realize it, because our lives have forever changed. The ICJ stipulated that Israel must abide by the 1948 Genocide Convention, but did not ask for a ceasefire or suspension of hostilities. So, who is defending war victims on this earth, if not the ICJ? In reality, right now, the whole humanity is being bombed. The whole planet is screaming for peace. The Jews themselves shout, "Not in my name." People of different religions, cultures, beliefs unite and scream for peace. But no one seems to be listening. Why? Why? Are we totally unprotected after all? Nobody thinks that soon will be our turn to desperately cry for help and not find any. When I am feeling unworthy or just full of flaws, I remember his words. Don't try to push out the bad things that you have, but open the door for the light that is Jesus Christ, and your darkness will go away. I wonder what would Saint Porphyrius tell us if he was here today. I guess he would repeat his own words. When we love nature, the trees, the flowers, the birds, the sun, and so many other wonderful creations, then our love goes up to our Creator. The love of creation is a necessary premise to love God, but even more is our love for our fellow man. All people are God's children, Saint Porphyrius said. So doesn't this mean that regardless of ethnicity, religion, or skin color, we, simple people, must always be united like brothers and sisters? If it is true what they say, that the end of the world will come when love has vanished from human hearts, then let's make this plan fail. And if there are no asylums anymore to run to, let's make new ones. Not with bricks or walls that can be bombed. Let our hearts become an asylum. Let us be an asylum for one another.